we've figured out the content we want to include in our speech or our document. Now we need to decide how we're going to arrange it. A strong organizational structure to your communication will mean it's easier for the audience to follow and interpret. It's also easier for you. There are some fundamental principles to understand before we make any decisions about what goes where. Let's review them now. We'll start with organizing oral remarks. You need to think about what is logical for your audience. Remember, they don't have the luxury of flipping backward and forward throughout a document. So what do you need to explain first in order for them to understand the rest of your speech? It's also important to be a bit selfish here. Rely on your own intuition. What makes sense for you? You're the person who needs to remember what part of the speech comes next, so think about what's natural. Outlining the agenda of your remarks is helpful to your audience. Previewing the message and the order of delivery is going to help them follow along. Transitions are also important. Think about how the different parts of your speech relate and connect. Signal to your audience when you are moving to a different section. That's called signposting. Now, let's move on to the fundamentals of organizing your writing. Your audience here is busy. They are not going to read the entirety of your document from front to back like it's Pride and Prejudice. You need to remember this, and it should inform all your organizational decisions. We're writing for people who are going to skim and scan the document, so you need to make it easy for them to do this. How do you do that? You start by grouping related information together in the same section. Use a table of contents so people can look up the chunk of information they're interested in. Label sections with descriptive headings and subheadings. This way, when someone's scanning a document looking for something specific, they'll know where to look for it. Other visual elements can help too. An index, bullet points, graphics, these all increase the readability of your writing. The last thing to keep in mind is to put the objective of why you're writing near the top. This isn't Ulysses. We don't want our readers left wondering why you're taking up their time. Tell them up front. The readings do a nice job of going over some of the more common types of organizational structures for both speaking and writing. But there are a few not mentioned that I want to cover. An inverted pyramid is a structure specific to press releases. The theory here is that you lead with the most important information first, and if that's all someone reads, they'd still understand what was going on. The rest of the document could literally be chopped away. This is also called most important to least important, but when it's being used not with a press release. A lot of business emails are written in this way. The author starts out with the most relevant information first. The 5 W's and 1 H is one that you might have actually heard of in high school. A lot of journalism is organized in this style. It covers the who, what, when, where, why, and the how, in no particular order. The last and maybe the most important one I want to talk about is institutional structure. Most organizations have their own templates and internal style guides for organizing documents. When you start working somewhere new, you need to ask around. If you're writing for a superior, find out how they specifically like information organized. Not every document you create or speech you're going to give is going to follow one of these patterns exactly. Some won't conform, and others might employ 2 or 3. A report can be both chronological and topical. Now that we've gone over these basic organizational principles, I'd like you to start analyzing the content you consume and deciphering how it's organized. Being aware of a communicator's choice about structure is going to help you become more proficient at making your own organizational decisions.